Have you ever given your all to someone who didn't appreciate it? When you give your heart to the wrong person, it can leave you feeling empty, questioning everything you thought you knew about love and trust. This is the story of a love that seemed unbreakable, a bond that looked perfect to everyone on the outside, but was slowly falling apart from within. If you've ever been through a painful breakup, if you felt the sting of betrayal from someone you trusted with your heart, share your experience in the comments below. Let's support each other in healing, because no one should go through this alone. It all started in the most unexpected way. I was just a regular guy, living an ordinary life, and she seemed like she needed saving. Our paths crossed one day through mutual friends. What began as a casual meeting in a crowded park turned into something that would change both of our lives forever. I could tell right away that she was carrying the weight of her past. She had been through a lot, and her eyes held a sadness I couldn't ignore. That day, I listened to her story, offering a shoulder to cry on without expecting anything in return. I made her feel seen and heard, perhaps for the first time in a long while. Our friendship blossomed quickly. I was the light she needed in her darkest times, and she found herself opening up to me in ways she hadn't with anyone else before. What started as a friendship soon grew into something deeper, something neither of us had expected but both needed. I never imagined I'd meet someone who would become so important to me so quickly. I saw in her a person who had been hurt but was willing to open her heart again, and I wanted nothing more than to be the one who could help her heal. But love isn't always easy. When she went off to college, distance became our new challenge. Long nights turned into endless phone calls, where we laughed, shared stories, and tried to bridge the miles that separated us. I made sacrifices, traveling miles just to see her smile, while juggling my own busy life. My weekends were spent on long bus rides, leaving behind work, friends, and sleep, all for a few precious moments together. I found ways to make the distance feel shorter, sending little reminders of my love. A surprise gift, a handwritten letter, even a simple message to start her day. I did everything I could to remind her that despite the miles, I was always there with her in spirit. We both knew that long distance was hard, but I was willing to put in the effort. I believed in our love, believing that every mile traveled and every sacrifice made was worth it. But as time went on, things started to change. The calls became less frequent, the texts shorter. I could feel her slipping away, and my heart sank with every unanswered message. I noticed her posting more pictures from parties, always surrounded by people I didn't know. The girl who once shared every detail of her day with me now seemed like a stranger. Her new life was filled with faces I had never seen before, and I felt like an outsider, looking in. I tried to convince myself it was just a phase, that she was busy with college and making new friends. But deep down, I knew something had changed. The girl I once knew seemed different, distant, disconnected, almost like she was living a separate life. I wanted to trust her, to believe that everything was fine. But the signs were hard to ignore. The more I looked, the more I saw new friends, new places, and a new life that I wasn't a part of. My mind raced with questions I didn't want to ask but couldn't ignore. Every time I tried to talk about it, she brushed it off. She said I was being paranoid, that I didn't understand how stressful college life was. I wanted to believe her, but the pit in my stomach only grew deeper. Have you ever felt like someone you loved was slipping away? Share your story with us. Sometimes, letting it out is the first step to healing. Then one night, the truth unraveled. A notification popped up on her phone. It was a message from a dating app, Bumble. My heart sank as I read the flirty messages exchanged with another guy. Everything they had, it was all a lie. At that moment, time seemed to freeze. I wanted to throw the phone away, scream at the injustice, but instead, I was paralyzed by the truth. She had been lying to him. Their late-night calls, their dreams of a future together. All of it now felt like a cruel illusion. I replayed every moment in his head. Those early days of love, the smiles, the promises. How could it have all been so real, yet so false? I didn't know whether to cry, to scream, or to just forget it all. I had always trusted her, believed in her love. But now the truth was undeniable. What was once so certain so pure, was now tainted by lies. And no matter how much I wanted to deny it, the evidence was right there in front of me. What do you do when the person you loved, the one who was supposed to be your forever, turns into someone unrecognizable? How do you move on when you've been shattered like this? What would you do if you found out your partner was cheating? Would you confront them or walk away? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. Sometimes the hardest part is finding the strength to face the truth. The truth had come crashing down, but now I had to figure out what came next. The love I once knew was gone, replaced by a painful truth that would take time to heal. How does one pick up the pieces after everything has been shattered? I confronted her, hoping for an explanation, an apology even. But instead, I was met with a coldness I never expected. She picked up the phone, her voice distant, detached. Her voice from the phone, dismissive. What do you want? I don't have time for this. My face hardens as I speak, my voice trembling with frustration and confusion. Angry, pleading, I replied, I don't understand. How could you do this? How could you lie to me for so long? She replied, her voice cold and uncaring. You were too nice. It was suffocating. Her words felt like a slap in the face. Too nice? My love had been genuine, but it never seemed to matter. I could feel my heart breaking all over again, and in that moment, I realized it wasn't just the relationship that was broken. She had never really cared. And just when I thought it couldn't hurt more, she sent me a video of her and her new boyfriend. She didn't even care enough to hide it. To her, I was just a past she'd left behind. She had destroyed me, but not with her betrayal alone. It was the coldness, the utter lack of remorse. She had moved on, and I was left in the wreckage of what used to be love. But revenge, it seemed, was the only thing left to give him any kind of peace. He didn't know what the next move would be, but one thing was clear. He wouldn't just let her get away with this. The betrayal left a deep scar. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. The world around me was numb. The person I had loved, the one I had given everything to, was no longer the person in those photos. And yet, those photos were all I had left. Fragments of a love that no longer existed. Days turned into nights, and nights into endless, haunting silence. My friends tried to reach out, but I shut them all out. I couldn't face them, couldn't face the world. The betrayal had stripped me of the ability to trust, not just in others, but in myself. How could I have been so blind? How could I have missed the signs? Every memory, every moment we shared, now felt like a lie. The love I had built my world around was shattered, leaving me with nothing but echoes of what once was. How do you heal when the person who broke you was the one you saved? The one you trusted with your heart? The mental and emotional toll of betrayal isn't something that heals overnight. It lingers. It's the constant questioning, the self-doubt, the inability to trust again. Each day feels like a battle, and every moment spent in isolation brings me further away from who I was. I am no longer the person who loved with abandon, who believed in the good in others. Now all I feel is pain. Healing takes time, they say. But how do you heal when the wound is so deep, when the one who inflicted it was someone you once called your everything? Have you experienced a betrayal so deep that it took you years to heal? Share your story below. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is talk about it, but it's the first step toward healing. Through the pain, I learned a powerful lesson. Sometimes the person who breaks you also teaches you your true worth. The hurt I endured, as overwhelming as it was, became the catalyst for growth. It showed me that I deserve so much more than the heartbreak I experienced. And so do you. Never settle for someone who makes you feel less than you are. You are worthy of love that uplifts you, that cherishes you for who you truly are. The journey to healing isn't easy, but it is one worth taking. Healing is a journey, and it's worth every step. It's okay to feel broken at times, but remember, each day brings new opportunities for growth, for self-love, and for the chance to build a life that brings you joy and peace. Don't rush it. Take your time. You deserve all the happiness that the future holds. If you're on your own journey of healing, know that you're not alone. Share your thoughts and experiences below. Remember, you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness. Heartbreaks can leave us shattered, but healing is always possible. If you've been hurt in love, know you're not alone. Share your story in the comments, and let's support each other on this journey of healing. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more real-life stories and advice.